Hello everyone. Welcome to our third weekly session on AI tools for teachers, for educators, for higher education, education in general. We are happy to continue discussing AI with Professor Kostas Petritis from Hellenic Mediterranean University. This is our third session today. We will continue meeting every Monday same time. So thank you for remembering and connecting on time. We appreciate your participation, your live participation. We will be happy to receive questions and comments in the chat as we go. You can also raise your hand and interrupt, right? We open the floor to discussion. So I will the floor to Kostas when he's back. So, Kostas, the floor is yours. You can begin. We will get started, okay?
Yeah, we can start, I think. Thank you very much for the introduction. Thank you very much to be with us. This is the third time that we're going to introduce, some principles regarding AI. Today we are going to speak about detection and coping. We are going to cheating and detection. This is what we are going to discuss today. And I will have one more session next week, the last from my side, and then Elena will take care with, the tools, more practical applications that they are going to based, of course, on the principles that we have discussed. Today we have a presentation, and at the same time I have a Mentimeter for you in order to check your opinion as an academics. Why do you think that students somehow are cheating? And what kind of detection do we apply in our universities, and what are the advantages and the disadvantages? So let me share my screen in order to start this session. So let me start sharing my screen, and then I will place. I hope that you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. So let's start. We in one with one of the topics that I think is like on the top of the list. Why do we worry when we are using AI, artificial intelligence, within our classrooms, and how the students are using it? So all of us as an academics, one of the biggest questions that we have, and one of the biggest challenges is like cheating and how to detect if this is possible. And so we are going to show some tools. I'm not going to tour you through the tools, but I will present you how do they operate in order to know somehow how to detect and if this is possible. So the today's content and the today's, let's say, topics that we are trying to cover this hour is like why students cheat, AI detection, how do they work, something regarding, platforms that they support our students in their learning, but at the same time also provide artificial intelligence detection tools. What kind of concerns do we have when we are using these detection tools regarding privacy and IP concerns? How to avoid AI detection, and how to stop cheating using pedagogies and policies. And we're going to continue this with more ideas regarding cheating intervention. So let's start why students cheat. And I would like, this is like, I would like to call you to go to the Mendy.com, and before I will present you what the bibliography says and what are the opinions, my opinions, your opinions are going to be they are going to be shown in this Mendy.com survey. We're going to discuss the results in order to move on. So I hope I will stop sharing my screen in order to go to the Mentimeter and share the screen of the Mentimeter. Share.
So please follow the link in the chat and the code in the chat to join the
I
Mentimeter.
hope that, I did not, but anyhow, I will share my screen again in order to check, the code even, through my screen. So even if you don't have an access to the chat, here it is. Let me close this. So you need to go mendy.com and use this code. When you are ready, I can see 20 people. They are already there. So I'm waiting a bit, we are 65 now, in order more people to join and start our discussion. It's very important to know why students do they cheat and how the detection system works. Because one of the biggest challenges, as you will see, is like to accuse someone because the AI detection tool that we are using shows, how can I say, a cheating, and this student to be innocent. That this is the main case right now regarding the use of these tools or no. So, understanding AI and student cheating, as I'm waiting for the rest of the people to join the Mentimeter, is the following. It's like AI tools can generate, essays, they can solve problems, they can use a language that is very close to the humans. How do we speak? They are using it for various reasons regarding competition, academic excellence, and the academic institutions, they face challenges because if cheating will prevail, then what is the credibility of the degrees that we provide? So there is like a challenge that we need to address, and we need at this stage, in my opinion, to understand how does it operate and what are the motives and what kind of opportunities the digitalization of higher education provides in collaboration with AI in order to understand the problem. So if the students, why do they cheat? Various reasons, and we will see later on. And let's start with the first question. In your experience, what are the main reasons students cheat using AI? So I would like to ask your opinion. My opinion is like the competition, the time restrictions, the pressure in order to finish on time, sometimes this is a generation that it is looking for the maximum gain, sometimes with the minimum effort. This is the case, I think, that beyond this generation. Sometimes where they are using it because our, take care as academics towards them is not the appropriate one. So let's see, easy way out. It's easy. Laziness, time efficiency, not to face difficulties and critical thinking. Sometimes also is a lack of policies from the institutions. I mean, what are the consequences of cheating is not clear for them. So deadlines, poor time management, laziness. I would say regarding the deadlines, sometimes we have non-flexible deadlines, and this is one of the suggestions that I will provide to you in order to provide more flexibility. Another reason is probably the assessment that we are using. How do we assess them? And how many homework do we place? So I can see, a lot of nice ideas. They want to do something else. Sometimes they are not aware what's allowed. It easy way, sense of power. Sense of power. I like this. Can you please elaborate? What do you mean, sense of power? No, you can switch on your microphone and you can say, what does it mean, sense of power? They believe it easy, less effort. So I can see from this feedback that it's less effort and it is easy. So AI provides opportunities and the motives in order to do things. Fear of failure, this is the academic excellence. So let's move to the next one. What factors do you believe contribute most to AI-assisted cheating? What factors do you believe contribute most to AI-assisted cheating? Is it easy to access to the tool? I mean, what do you think? AI is free and available. even though AI is free and available, not all the versions. So there is a digital gap that now even the cheating creates or the detections create between the students, because the students with a good internet or with the students with the financial, let's say, capability to pay the paid version, the paid versions are closer to the humans, how do we speak, and it's harder to detect. um, Availability of literature or language can be scanned by AI. It's always available. Easy to use AI tools. AI available. It's easy to use, but do we know how to use? Have we explained to the students how to use AI for their learning and their innovation? This will be the topic of a BIP, a blended intensive program that we're going to launch next semester for students. So if your university would like to participate, please don't hesitate to contact with us. And we are going to have the face-to-face meeting in Chania, in Crete, at the end of May. This will be the topic for students, how to innovate and learn using AI. AI is cheap and available, easier to have rapid answers, rapid but not correct. So we need to train our students on how to use them in order to be able to justify that they receive correct answers. And it's let's say it's easy. The teachers may not easily detect AI generated text. Of course, that's why we are doing this discussion here in order to identify these ways. So let's move to the other one. How has AI changed the way students approach academic integrity? So academic integrity is like to be able to, let's say, for my opinion, to distinguish, I mean, to do the job or someone else to do the job for you, like cheating. How do we salute the academic integrity among the students? What were the consequences if someone is not going to follow the academic credited principles? They don't think using AI is cheating. I am the opposite. I will show you, a result from a university in Pennsylvania that they showed to us that more than 70%, if I remember correct the number of the students, they are going to use AI, even though that they know that this is not ethical to do. It's not, they don't play with the same rules of game with students that they don't use it. So they are very aware regarding what they are doing regarding AI. They are not so much aware of the consequences, the punishment, or like how tolerant we are as a professors, because I think that we are the weak link of this discussion. They don't try to achieve the goals on their own. AI has reduced critical thinking in students, so we need to help them on how to build academic integrity, and this is something that we are going to discuss towards the end of the today's sessions on how to face the cheating. The fact that they review and check the AI output makes them feel they are not cheating. You know, I'm not sure about this. Ready-made answers, there is no consequences. There is also limited, I would say, tutoring from our side. As a professors, we are very busy in a lot of things, or we would like to do a lot of things at the same time. So I think, or lack of staff. A lot of universities, they have lack of staff and they don't have the appropriate number of tutors in order to interact with them and help them. Also, the assessment that we are doing, probably we are still based on this old-fashioned one final assessment at the end, which push them in order, to cheat. So I think that also we're going to discuss this. Lack of detection tools. I think it's lack of knowledge of what detection tools exist, how to use them. This is also return to old school assessment. I mean, yes, I mean, we're going to discuss this. In Italy, I was reading, an article, I don't remember in which of the newspaper, I don't think so, that it was the Chronicle of the Higher Education, that, the oral examination is coming back. However, what about big classrooms? We need, more tutors. So I think oral examination together with other, let's say, handwritten assessments probably is one of the measures that probably we need to use. So I'm moving the other one. What challenge do you face in detecting or preventing AI-based cheating? So what are your challenges? I mean, how do you struggle in order to identify them? I mean, all of us, I think that we are using AI somehow. I hope in the correct way. This was like the main probing exams that we have provided in session two. I think that we are going to conclude with probing in the next time in order to include everything that we can do as an AI assisted teachers. However, if we are using it, we can feel if someone is using AI. However, do we know how to use AI detection tools? How much do we allow the AI detection tools to define our thresholds, what is cheating or what is not cheating? All right. So knowing and having the correct tools for detection, I refuse to police them. This is very correct. Our role is not to police them. I think our role is to educate them what is the academic um, integrity and how we are going to salute and bonus the people that they are decent and they are doing the job. However, we need to identify the ways if someone is is cheating. Rules from the university, rules from the departments, they should be released and they should be visible in order anyone to know the rules of the game. Students know how to avoid detection tools as well, of course. I mean, I'm going to teach you some of these rules. However, in order, to know the tricks that they are using, not to use them, uh, not shaming students who may still have done it themselves, even through we suspect. I mean, this is something that we need to do, like to admit when we are using AI tools, for good way, for in constructive way, or in case that we are cheating. One of the suggestions that we are providing or we are suggesting to remove their essay, to have the option to remove an essay by themselves. Let's go to the next one in order to go as well. Describe the one word why students might use AI to cheat. With one word. Why students might use AI to cheat? What is I think that, probably, this repeats the first one. The first question is very close to the first question. But the one word, why students? Easy. Okay, so we will see now what is the main reason by making the same probably because they are not managed to perform, or if they have a deadline, they are same in order to admit that they have failed to do the job. Time saver, shortcut, effortless, rapid. So I can see here, I will wait for this because I think that this will be, the main conclusion in order to continue is like the opportunities looks like that provides the AI for our students to cheat. So easy, free, even though, as I said to you, now becomes a multi-million industry and nothing is free anymore. Very few tools are free. Um, Fear, time saver. I'm going to wait for a while in order to conclude and move to our presentation. So I will wait 30 seconds more, and then I think I will close this Mentimeter that I will share it with you in the Moodle platform. Okay, so let me finish this presentation. Thank you for your participation. Let me go back to my presentation in order probably to discuss some of them. So, why students cheat? I mean, as easy as you mentioned for the students to cheat, as it is easy for us, to suspect or to accuse someone that is cheating. So we need to be very careful on this. And this will be my main motivation in order to explain to you how these cheating tools works. It's like quantum mechanics. I don't think so that we have any physicists here, but quantum mechanics is based on probabilities. And these probabilities to detect someone if it's cheat, creates also the uncertainty that probably this accusation is not correct. Or if someone is cheating but is using the probing in a very smart way, or is using these AI detection scans in order to avoid the cheating by rephrasing. So we need to be very careful. And I will say to you, before I will move to these transparencies, that these alarms that these detection tools probably they will provide us is like to aware us that something happens, but do not be sure and do not jump to a conclusion immediately that someone is cheating. All right. So it's essential for us to understand how AI is cheating and how the AI detectors work. And as I will say, this is very important for the universities to be able to conclude measurements or to announce some KPIs, key performance indicators, that they are going to be used together with AI detectors in order to determine the threshold of this probability in order to be concluded as a cheating, because we need to protect the credibility of our degrees. So I will say that the cheating has been skyrocketed, during the COVID-19. I think I'm one of the believers that COVID-19, even though that it was a very big tragedy regarding deaths, but at the same time it was like a milestone for the technology in order to overcome, this kind of, let's say, pandemic. But also opens a lot of opportunities for more inclusivity, more democratic higher education. All right. So, however, we needed, we identified that we need to develop either with proctoring or other kind of techniques to make better supervision of avoiding the cheating from the students. So the technology has skyrocketed, and the internet devices, they have skyrocketed, the opportunities and the ways that someone can cheat. Some, figures, from the bibliographic research, 22% of the college students have used AI for homework assignments. 49% of the college students reported using AI in a daily base. However, you will see also that we have 88% increase in sanctions due to AI academic misconduct, according only from one university, University of Maryland in 2022, 2023, by the students. And according to a review from the University of Pennsylvania in 2023, we have sevenfold increase in cases of AI unfair advantage over fellow students. Now, if we go to more numbers, look at this, because someone of you told me that they are not aware that they are cheating. 75% of students stated that they will continue to use AI even if their institutions prohibited it. So I think that it's very essential for us to teach them this academic integrity, a very old-fashioned rule that all the academics should follow. I doubt this, to be honest, because of this publish or perish, and not only about this. But we need, to have a lesson. We should have a quiz in order, to train our students what does it mean academic integrity, and probably they will change their mind at that point. 93% of students will continue to use AI despite the majority of them agrees that this is dishonest. Okay, so you can see that the students they will continue to use AI not in an appropriate way, because probably they are not aware about the consequences and why it's important for them to demonstrate this academic integrity. AI provides, as you have mentioned, you mentioned yourself during the Mentimeter, easy, free. This requests, a very few time. So I think that the AI increases the means, the ways, and also the opportunities. I mean, you gave me some examples, very strict deadlines, a lot of workload that, the students, they cannot cope with this. Sometimes very difficult problems that they don't reflect, the way that we teach, old assessment methods. So these are the opportunities for them in order to cheat with a lot of means and a lot of AI-based platforms. 12% of students who use ChatGPT, this is one motivation also, they reflect better academic performance when they are using AI tools. So I was thinking from my perspective why students cheat, and I will say competition for better academic success, like academic stress. I think that we stress our students sometimes a lot. We place, a very big amount of homework to them with very, strict deadlines. Sometimes, these deadlines are not flexible. We don't provide them, some opportunities to extend these deadlines. Some of our students, included us, we have poor time management skills. A lot of students, they place too many things on their plate and then they try to deal in order also at the same time to perform. You mentioned very well that these competitions, particularly from the medium group of students, that they are not the excellent ones, they are not the poor ones, they are feeling embarrassed if they are not going to perform. And I think also regarding the pedagogies that we are using, that they are not interactive, but at the same time, old ways of assessment. One exam at the end. And if you are going to combine the poor management of the students, how many courses do they have to be evaluated at the end in the old fashion? They are going to be pushed in order to using AI not in an appropriate way. So I will start with AI detection tools. I copied two of them, more I think that Elena will describe. If not, I'm standby on this. So here is like CopyLeaks and GPT-0. GPT-0 used to be free. I think it's still free, as you know, I played around yesterday, but CopyLeaks has some fees. If something has a fees, means that it's like it performs better. I mean, this is like the logical rule. However, all of them, they operate with a probabilities. Here, I would like to check, a sustainability plan that I have written, very many. I mean, before 3 years. So I place it to. I think that this is the GPT. Yes, GPT-0. I place it, and they said like this is 100% human generated article. I felt, very nice because I was going to feel embarrassed if somehow this will show 90, 80% or 97% human generated, let's say, article. So this is one of the tools that if you place something, upload anything, PowerPoint, PDF, let's say Google document, it will come back to you with a probability that this is human generated, this is AI generated, with an overall performance that I will show you what does it mean. So what I would like you to say to you that, all these tools, it's like their accuracy is something very complex. These AI tools, they don't say to you that this student is copying or this student is cheating. It is linked with a probability. And this creates a problems here because whenever we have a smoke, usually there is a fire, but what is going to happen if fire is not there? A lot of libraries, they are using this software, the Turnitin. So AI Turnitin cheating detection tool, they reported a 4% of false positive rate. 4% positive false rate means that, 4% of what they have placed wrongly has been directed as an AI generated document. And I will say to you, what if you are going to accuse, if you are going to start the procedure too for a student that has happened, eh? At least the bibliography is reporting such a cases that you accuse this person that his work is AI generated, and this is not the case. Do you know the consequences of this student? Do you know the impact of your credibility? Do you know the impact the negative impact to your institution? So I think that we need more in order to justify beyond these AI detection tools, if something is AI generated. And also, as you will see, the AI, the artificial intelligence agents, through the probing, through smart probing, can make your feedback to be very close to our natural language and sometimes to be appear 100% our work. However, the same tools, they produce also detection agents. So here is like, have you seen the doping and the anti-doping? So these two technologies are developed together. So the more efficient the detection tools, the more efficient the techniques or the detection scanners in order to avoid them. So we have here, and I have placed this link with a lot of detection tools that you can use, and what is their over reliability. And this overall reliability, 90% you can see over there, is the combination of how well they can identify correctly human generated text or work and AI generated, work. All right. So the higher the credibility, the better, the tool. However, it's not 100%, and however, they are doing mistakes. So the prodding, is one smart, let's say, or a way that the students, they are very aware, and I will give you more examples later on how to avoid the AI detection tool. So they ask for, something, using the probing techniques that we have discussed, some of them in the previous lecture, and you can find more examples in the transparencies that they have already uploaded in the Moodle, but they can give more questions. They can give more questions and, in order to skip. So for example, here I place an example, enhance the word choices to sound more like that of a native speaker. And here we have another kind of biasing. All of us, I think that we don't have a British here or a US citizen. So we are not English native speakers, but we have over here, some English teachers. I can see Samia or Elena. I think this is your expertise. Um, and you know that, when your fluency in English is getting better and better, and you speak better as a human, in this case, we have a richer vocabulary. So a non-native speaker has, less rich vocabulary, and this probably can be detected, as an AI generator. All right. So, or, students that they are poorer and they don't have an access to the paid version of ChatGPT. I don't know if, it's Claude has a paid version or etc. So, these are the things that can create confusion to the AI detection without trying to copy. Right? So the other thing is like another trick that they are using is like to in purpose to introduce spelling and grammar mistakes on what ChatGPT provides to you. This creates, and this provides the text of the students to be more humanistic. Um, so if I would like, somehow to summarize, about the AI detection tools, I will say that their accuracy varies considerably depending if you pay for the fee, if you are going to have a beta version, or if you are going to have a free version. There are betters in order to detect the copying and the frauding than us, definitely, but they do make mistakes. And if they are going to do mistakes, the results are going to be severe. They don't accuse anyone to say to you that Petridis is cheating, but they provide a probability. All right. So you need to identify as an academic what is going to be your threshold of this probability, above which, I'm sorry, above which it's going to be considered, it's going to start, a process in order to search for something. And as I told you, probing, scanners, um, there are ways in order the students to avoid the AI detectors. And some personal questions as an academics that we should place is like what role this AI detection tools should be allowed it based to our academic integrity policies. How much we will allow this kind of tools that we need to use, in my opinion, but we need to demonstrate critical thinking how much they are going to affect our decisions. Is it ethical to use these tools if someone is not innocent? Is it about ethics? We are going to see that we are using the work of someone else in order to train a machine. How this knowledge is going to be used for other purposes? How many false positives are too many in order to train? And what kind of training your university does it provide to you in order to use these tools? In my university, I don't know. I mean, probably it's very limited. Or if we have, it's keep my attention. That is very hard. But we don't have a concrete training on how to use these AI detection tools. There are some efforts, but not some coherent, let's say, every year, let's say, training. As I mentioned, at what threshold your probability, you start to do something. Let's move then to another factor. A lot of students, this is something that I read it yesterday, they were using these study aid providers. And this is something that has been started since COVID. This is like a Quizlet. I think that Elena will present this on. This is like a platform on that the students they can identify solution about the exams, solution of problems, materials, chatbots in order to discuss. And also, us as a teachers, a lot of material to use. All right. However, this kind of subs, they use also the answers that they provide, they can skip the AI detection tools because they provide these AI plagiarism scans. So you place up there the answer, and then their scanner they will say to you 78% AI generated. So what are you doing? Probing in order to change. Copy paste this to the ChatGPT and say like reduce the AI contribution, make it more like to be heard like me that I'm an undergraduate student in the physics department, or make this question to be liked by Professor Petridis, who is teaching physics in HMU. So again, the probing is something central but you need to provide a role to play, this AI agent. So AI has raised the threshold of the exams, and we can see this even in the proposals. Excellent proposals, excellent, exam papers. However, the detection that we are using, we have, the scanners that they are counterplate, the detection ability, together with the probing. So this is like a business that is moving together, and we need to know. I will give you another example. I have bought Grammarly, all right? Playing around Grammarly, I'm using Grammarly as an AI correction. So, I mean, whatever I'm writing, I can see my emails full of mistakes. Sometimes, I'm surprised, if, without Grammarly, what the people do they think about me. However, Grammarly helped me to correct. However, you need to reread it. But also, I found out that Grammarly also can be used as an AI scanner. Because if something that I generated looks like, or if I place something generated by ChatGPT immediately, I mean, I can identify and use Grammarly to make it more personalized, to make it more human, to avoid, these detectors. And you can see examples. I think that I have these examples, somewhere in my slides, that when something has been detected by probability 85% that is AI generated, just a nice probing reduce these detections to less than 10%. So it's very fast and very easy, using probing to avoid this kind of detection. Now, another topic regarding cheating and detection is this one. So we are professors, and we have a lot of exam papers, homeworks that, nowadays, digitally, our students, they are uploading to our platforms to check. And the first thing that we need to do, depends of course on the topic, is like to place them to an AI detection in order to check, the percentage of the AI generated, let's say part, if this is the case. And you can see like 80% of the students they are using this. Yeah, probably this is the case in some cases. But however, there is a question here. From the moment that I'm going to upload something on the ChatGPT or in the other artificial intelligence agents, I'm training the machine. So, of course, there are some options that, I can show you or Elena will show you, later on in order to restrict this use, in the public. However, me personally, as a teacher, I don't know where this is the option, all right? So from the moment that I'm placing something, this goes to the property somehow of training of the ChatGPT. So is this ethical? Is this something that, how do I know that this um, piece of work of my students, even though that I have the good tendencies that I would like to check that if this is generated by AI, is going to be used for other purposes. We don't have these answers. So we need to, to have it in our mind that even though that we're using these detection tools, they provide a probability in order to identify the cheaters. However, what is happening to this work? Where does it go? So there are issues. I think that the University of Florida canceled, to use this detection tool based on the Turnitin because they have a lot of issues regarding the questions that I just mentioned to you. It is unclear how student work was being used to train the tool itself further. They have legal sanctions, that you have used other people's work that has been identified, by the students or from other institutions later on. And of course, we have this high. This is high for their standards. This false positive rate, 4% is considered, according to the bibliography, very high. So now, we need to ask ourselves, okay, we have the technology, they have the technology, all right? We know somehow we have mapped through questionnaires, through the bibliography, why students, they are using ChatGPT to cheat. And they admit in a high percentage that they will keep doing it. So we need to change the culture in this way, all right? We need somehow to change the culture and the way that we teach or we assess. So they know, the students, that they are not now, let's say, probably we are uh, the rookies using the technology. I think that they are very experienced NBA players, the students, on how to use this kind of technology. And they will never use, directly what ChatGPT provides to them just with the first question. They are veterans than us. I think that we lack here. So they know how to use even the technology, paraphrasing software. I gave you an example of something that, I'm paying every month, but I did not know. But my students, I'm pretty sure that they know. So they are using these paraphrasing softwares in order to avoid AI detection that in my case I don't use because I don't know until I have prepared this presentation. All right. So, there is a lot of lack of training regarding our digital and AI literacy. And another thing that I found out is I'm very active, to publish, to express my opinion in social media. So I have created the Kostas Petridis digital profile that, the students through the probing, they can engineer the answers to provide to me that I like it a lot. So they prepare me to say I like this guy because he approaches some of the challenges, the way that I think. And they know this. So I have some examples to show to you, like probe examples, like they can say, write a summary on how to teach soft skills in the classroom in the style of HMU professor Konstantinos Petridis. And this is an example that I'm pretty sure that I can use any one of you, of course, if I know you, and if you have a digital a digital profile, either through your presentations or either through your publication. Question about the open access journal that I support them, but however there is some counter argument that your character, the way of thinking, is there and can be used. So also sometimes, and these are the rookies, I can identify that a response from a student is very mature, it's very academic, the wording that they are using is oh, this guy knows a lot of things. And sometimes this guy in the classroom and say this is impossible. All right, so the students, they are becoming smarter. So they say to you, no, this is too advanced for me. Use simpler words. in order to present things. This is too much to me. Probably, they are working like this, but also they are afraid that if we're going to introduce the oral assessment, then on the five house, they don't know how to respond. So they try to modify this, not only based to your character, based to your profile as an academic, but also to appear simpler. So other examples is like the students, they use AI also in a different way. They upload their work, and so they try to speak with the AI in order to enrich their work. So also they try to have a brainstorming with AI. Like they say, like I have an essay in laser physics, let's say laser application in engineering. Write me the outline. Are these cheating? Yes or no? For me, it's not. Since they are going to do the work. Probably for Sarah Passaro, as I can see, probably this is cheating. I don't know. Depends on the Sarah or in the Elena or in the Samia. But they are not rules. There is no threshold. What does it mean? What is cheating or what is not cheating? So if I'm moving on, there's an open question here that I'm not asking you to respond. Think about this because that's a discussion. Do we call it cheating when a business calls something as a progress or as an efficiency? A lot of now companies, regarding the writing, they don't expect, from the administrator to write everything, from the very beginning. They say like, I want to make me, let's say, a sustainability plan for this product. These are, the previous documents that I have. These are the characteristics about this product. In the old way, the administrators, they are going to have a lot of meetings in order to do. But now AI can do it for them, and they have an idea what they are looking for, and they can do. This is efficiency. In academia, we call it cheating, no? So it's up to us to decide, what kind of wording we are going to use. And I'm going to ask you, we prepare our students for what? For the market, in order to be more employable, but to be ethical as well. So there are a lot of now questions that we need to ask ourselves on how to teach. So what about stop cheating? Of course, the greatest democracy. Stop AI from the universities. I remember in the States, they have used, some metal sealed rooms in order to what? To cut off the mobile phone from outside. So the students, they cannot sit using, smartphones within the examination, let's say, room. But do you think that this will work? No. And we don't want this. At least myself, I don't want this because AI is something like the internet browsers. We need to use it in the appropriate way. So to ban it in order to avoid the cheating is not the solution because it's going to affect other areas of the university's innovation, research, and etc. The other thing is like to use good AI detection, but we have seen that there are a lot of still, challenges. They don't provide 100% probability. Also, if they will say that this is 100% human generated document through the probing, through the scanners, we can, avoid this. So we don't know yet. So the people they are returning something. Someone said this in the Mentimeter in the old ways, proctoring. Techniques in order to proctor, supervise online and on-site examinations. So the online, I remember that they are using, some cameras. They would like to have 360 degrees, of the room. They don't allow. They would like, to see you to look one camera and not second cameras. These are ways of proctoring. And of course, we know the old way. I'm a bad dog, for example, in the exams. I'm very strict. I enjoy, in order to supervise them, I enjoy very much, to arrest someone when she or he is trying to fraud. But this is not the way. We are not policemen. We are not a reinforcement. But this is the old ways. No, we need to go to the old ways. Return to handwriting. In the States, they were saying about these blue books. I was checking what is a blue book. It's like an examination book, only for the exam. Handwriting. However, handwriting. Even if the machine is going to say you something, you need to copy. So the time is going to be more than to place your mind to think and invest on your studies. Oral exams. I love it. I still remember, I don't know, Sara Passaro, if you are from Italy. My brother was a student in University of Milano for medicine, and they had oral exams. All right. So I would say, it's the only way to understand if you know. However, needs a lot of human power and a lot of time, and sometimes it's biasing. What about if the professor does not like you, for example? But this is one way in order to check how many things, the people do they know. And try to introduce more AI resistant assignments, more presentation, frequent testing, frequent, examination, more videos in order, to introduce. Even now, as you will see, Elena will present AI video generated, but I think that this is somehow obvious to detect. I don't know. We are waiting for Elena's contribution. So other things, discuss with them the academic integrity, because this is the rule. In order to realize why it's important to do the work vs cheating, you have to lose more things. And you can give examples of both ways in order to learn on how to work. And this is what we are doing in the universities: how to study, how to take the initiatives, how to solve problems, and how to learn. This is like what we are doing in the universities. To place a quiz. This is a nice idea that I found out in the bibliography. So a quiz before the first assignment, so a little bit, later on, probably in the second semester, in order the students to respond, what does it mean, AI credited, and what are the consequences? And they have to respond to this test more than, like, close to 100%, otherwise they cannot continue. Allow students to admit their mistakes. Do not feel, bad. They know that they have cheated. So give them, the opportunity to redraw, if they have realized this. This is something that we are doing in life. This is something that builds the democracies. This is a democracy. It's not the elections only, the democracy, but the processes in order to correct things. And I think this is very democratic to do. Another thing is, like, demonstrate them that I'm not bluffing. I'm not, saying lies. There are detection tools, and these are the detection rules that the university or I'm using in order to know that probably they have to work harder in order to avoid them. But if they have this on their mind, they are not going to have the opportunities or the motivation to use them immediately. Like, take care of your students. We need to take care. We need to have someone next to them. AI can play this role, but also humans, we can play this role. And, admit to them that what are the challenges during a course in order to not feel bad. Because they face challenges, but they don't know that the others, they face the same challenges. This is the problem. And also try to do frequent testing. Place low stakes assignments in order, this is better for us. You monitor, you provide motivation to them. If they fail in an exam, this is not, distractful and, very bad for them. And also try to be, this is what we have learned in virtual exchanges, like to be a facilitator during the class. Try to do everything in the class. Try, to evaluate, teach within the class. And over there, I think it's more interactive and also avoids, the cheating. Another thing, don't try, to overload them. A good professor is not a professor that plays very hard problems, or in a very hard deadlines. MIT is not a good school because of this. It's a good school because motivates, bright minds in order to know how to work in a reasonable way. We don't want to punish our students. If we want this, let's go to the psychiatrist in order to check ourselves if, our mind is in a correct status, all right? So try to be reasonable regarding the workload and, the deadlines, and be flexible. Probably, some deadlines in the frequent, exams, probably it can be postponed, without any consequence for them. Let's say 2 postponements, of a deadline per student. I think that this is going to be good, and they are going to appreciate. And promote on how to use AI. As I told you, this is like the next action that we are going to do next semester as a blended intensive program. And if you are in a university, we will be happy to have you as a partners. I will send you an email. Of course, as everyone, increase their digital and AI literacy, even though that it's higher, in a higher level than us. And also, as I mentioned, more frequent testing. And if they will use AI, the threshold, it will be higher, and we know this. And, regarding today's, and this is my last transparency, 4 minutes before the hour, build the digital and AI literacy of students and professors, particularly for us, on how do we use detection tools, how to evaluate the results of the detection tools, promote academic integrity among our students, and try to change the ways that we assess. Not a final assessment, more frequent assessment. Try to do anything in the classroom and try to be close to our students. And with this, I would like to thank you to be with us, in this how can I say, in this third session about AI for teachers regarding the principles. I will have one more session next week, as far as I know, according to the manager, Elena Mistraki. And if you have any questions or not, I will place, we have 3 minutes. If not, I would like to thank you, and I will upload the transparencies and the video recording to the Moodle platform. Okay? So thank you.
Much, Kostas. Thank you. Very thought-provoking and interesting. A lot of comments in the chat. You can see that Juliana just wrote that it's actually important to talk to students about transparency and what's actually allowed, because this is also something that students can be confused, right? So they need to know what's allowed and what's banned and how we have to deliver that. So lots and lots of comments. You can go through the chat and see all kinds of ideas.
All right, I think that
Actually, like from the beginning, the big question that you also addressed in your presentation was, why do we call it even cheating, right? We should maybe change the way we look at things and to work with AI. But again, there are needed like strategies and understanding of how to make transparency and the allowed activities.
if you are going to use something that is not your work directly, it's cheating. All right. If you are going to use your work, if you are going to receive something, process and place your character and your opinion and engineering this, for me, it's not cheating. However, this is very clear that we should make it very clear to them and to us as well. Because sometimes, because of this perish or publish, I'm not against publication. Actually, I think that this is one of the ways for professional development. However, we need to be clear to ourselves as well regarding this.
I can put the reel from Instagram that I posted in the chat also. It's funny and it reflects the problem between like the fight between teachers and students, if you want, in the remaining minutes before you disconnect.
I don't think so that we should have any fight between us and them. We are colleagues, and actually we need to be,
No, it's
how
not
can I
between
say,
us.
to brainstormers to them, to trigger, their interest in order to get ahead. Our target should be to become much better than us.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you for
Thank you.
For your responses.
And see you next week. I'm going to conclude about the AI facilitated teacher with more prompts and more opportunities on how to develop lectures, curricula, and stuff like this. This is going to be my last engagement with you. Then we will switch roles with Elena. I will be more on checking the chat and also facilitate the discussion. So thank you. I have provided to you also a very nice questionnaire from a colleague from Brazil, Kyria Finardi. So take your time in order to respond. Through this questionnaire, I responded today myself as well. You will identify also new perspectives as a teacher on how to use AI. Okay? So, ευχαριστώ πολύ. Καλησπέρα from Greece. From Hellenic Mediterranean University, I can see my colleague Nicolas Petrakis always, I can see him over there. Thank you and have a nice night and take care.
Very much. I will share the reel for everyone who can't access it, just because it's funny and it reflects today's topic, and you can feel free to disconnect. It's just 30 seconds. So I'm sharing my screen, and I'll share the sound as well, and then you can also hear the
software, and somehow also locked us out of the microwave. Ah, my ramen is in there! It just keeps spinning! We're not beaten yet. We're installing a state-of-the-art firewall so that our system is unhackable.
They think we can't get around a firewall. Say hello to my little VPN!
The firewall has fallen.
No!
Godsman, we're breached!
That's it. We have no choice but to invoke the banana option.
Why is all our homework about bananas?
Einstein's theory of relativity is a linchpin in modern banana science, huh?
They ghost prompted us.
Explain.
I was gonna. The teachers hid the word banana in our assignments in invisible white text.
Explain further.
Oh, so when we pasted the homework prompts into CheatGPT, we didn't realize we also asked it to write about bananas.
They banana us, we'll banana them.
We bananaed them. They bananaed us.
Yeah, I think that we should include this video in the link in the Moodle. Okay, Elena, it was nice.
Thank you so much, and have a great evening. Have a great day.
Bye bye. Good night. Kalimikta.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye. Kalispera. Bye.